Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of QRA Live with me, your host, Jimmy, aka the Acu Sensei. I'm testing out some new setup. And so let me get the chat ready. Let's see. I'm testing out a new setup so I can answer for those of y'all who have questions that may require like a whiteboard. Okay, hopefully it will all work. Okay, but let's see. Okay, I got my chat going. So those of y'all who are tuning in for the very first time, QRA Live is an opportunity for you to ask me any question. I know many people, a lot of our subscribers and followers, would love to come to our clinic and Achieve Integrative Health in Cedar Park, Texas, but they can, whether they live out of state or out of country. And so this is our way of giving back, our way of letting you experience what it would be like if you were to come into our clinic, if you had a consistent, a chronic health concern that you just haven't found a solution, whether you've been to multiple specialists, you've been to other acupuncturists, and you still maybe you're not getting any results, or maybe you're getting some results, but it's short-lived, is not long-lasting. You're probably like, hey, what else can I do? What can I do? I want help. I am seeking help, but I don't know what to do, right? This is the channel. This is the live QRA live where you can ask me directly. So type into the chat, what are some chronic health conditions that you need help with? And I can help guide you through the process of what to look for. What maybe it could be what practitioner, what blood tests, what imaging to get done, any of those. I would treat it like it was you were a patient of ours. And what I would recommend would be the exact same thing I recommend that my team recommends for our patients. Now, I do need to give a disclaimer. I am not a physician. I was not trained to prescribe medication, to dispense Western medicine advice, to do surgery. I'm not trained in that. I'm not licensed to do that. So I need to give you that disclaimer. Anything that I say, share today is only for educational purposes. It is not a prescription. It is not personal advice to you on what you should actually do. I need to say that, otherwise YouTube will shut my channel down. Now, what was I trained in? Restorative longevity. That's what I'm trained in. I help people regain their body, their God's given ability to heal itself, their body's God given ability to heal itself, so that they can do what they love to do, and help you live a longer life, but a higher quality of life, and do it without popping a pill, right? And that could be even supplements or herbs, right? So, also, QRA Live stands for Quick Restorative Acupressure. Quick Restorative Acupressure is not the same as acupressure. Acupressure is, oh, you have this problem, and then you push this point. No, that's not QRA. QRA is about finding the root problem. You have this problem, okay, great. But what organ that's supposed to heal that problem is not doing its job? What can we do to move blood to that organ so that the organ regains its function so it can heal itself? Okay, so if you want me to show you a QRA, you've watched my reels, you want me to show you a QRA, type into the chat what you want me to show you a QRA, acupressure for. I can do that as well. If you want me to map out the root cause of your health concern, I've got my new technology set up. I can do that as well. Type into the chat, first come, first serve. Usually don't wait, because usually when people wait, I run out of time. Okay, I've got about 15 minutes left. And so type into the chat. While I'm waiting for everybody to type in the chat, I'll discuss a couple of things that I've seen recently. And so, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control here in the US, is doing some drastic changes. And you can go to the CDC website. I am just quoting what I read. This is not my opinion. This is what I have read. And the CDC recently has said that they are unsure if the COVID vaccine is causing certain problems, or vaccinations in general, causing autism. They cannot prove that they did not say vaccines cause autism. What they said was there is no proof that vaccines do not cause autism. Of course, the people who are taking who recommend vaccinations are all saying, "Oh, the CDC, is no longer trustworthy because of the president and blah blah blah." Right? We're not going to get into politics, but if you believe in the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, if you believe in what they say and you trust in all what they say, this is what they're saying. Vaccinations, there's no proof that vaccinations, including the COVID vaccinations, do not cause autism. Okay. They're not saying that there is proof that it does cause autism, but they're saying that there's no proof that it doesn't cause autism. In addition, these vaccinations, medications, and so forth, vaccinations in general are similar to medications. The definition of a medication is that it has a side effect. Okay. Every medication has a side effect. Whether you can actually perceive it or not, you can actually feel it, you still have a side effect. You just don't feel it, right? Now, why is this important? And let me pull out my nifty whiteboard today. Let's see, my nifty whiteboard. Let's see if it works. I tested it and it was working. So let's see if it still works. Because I want to be able to draw this out to show you, it's too many. We are misled that symptoms equals diagnosis. However, symptoms do not equal diagnosis. Okay. Oh, let me share this. I got to do this first too. Your screen's gonna look black. Don't worry. It's not a whiteboard. It's actually a blackboard. Okay. I don't know how to turn it to white yet, but let's see. Okay. So let me get my little trusty blue. Let me see. You can see this purple. Okay. All right. So symptoms do not mean diagnosis. Okay. So hold on. Let me just move this really quick over here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So we are misled that symptoms, okay, symptoms equals diagnosis. That's why many people go to Google and self-diagnose. But the problem is you will run into huge problems because the same many 10 different diagnoses, 10 different disease have the same symptoms. So how do you differentiate it, right? So what's the reality? The reality is symptoms do not equate to diagnosis. Okay. I hope this is showing up. Oh, I don't know if this is showing up on your screen. One second. Let me make sure. Maybe it's this way. Okay. Let's see. I apologize. Do y'all just see a black screen or do you actually see writing? Okay. I hope y'all see. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Now it's showing up. Okay. Symptoms do not equate to diagnosis. Okay. So a lot has to happen before you, first of all, did you know a lot has to happen in your body before you actually feel your symptoms, right? So this is what you feel. Symptoms is what you feel, right? What happens before you feel symptoms? There's already organ dysfunction. Okay. There's already an organs, or it could be organs or organ dysfunction. There's already organs dysfunction before you feel symptoms. Okay. So, but what causes the organ dysfunction, right? You can see circulation issues plus miscommunication. Miscommunication. All right. So circulation issues, why circulation issues cause organ dysfunction? Because all the nutrients in your body, every nutrient you put in your mouth has to go through your bloodstream. Okay. And so if you have circulation issues, then certain areas of your body, certain organs in your body won't get they won't get the nutrition that you just put in your mouth, right? So if they don't get the nutrition, guess what? They die, the cells die, shrivel up, and cause problems, right? Just think about it. If you don't eat, you're going to shrivel up and eventually die, right? You need nutrition. I know this may sound common sense, but healing is actually very straightforward and very common. Um, Western medicine tends to just make things super complicated, which it should not be. Okay. Miscommunication. What is that? That's the nervous system. The brain, which is your CNS, your central nervous system, controls everything. It is your CPU. It is the brain. Your brain, it is the master control. It actually affects your circulation, right? Because if your brain says stop circulation to my liver, then your body's going to stop circulation to my liver. So if you have miscommunication, that will also cause circulation problems, right? Think about it. If you're married, you have kids, if you miscommunicate with your spouse or your kids, what happens? Usually chaos, right? Usually fights, you're yelling at each other and so forth. And so what causes the circulation issues and miscommunication? Lifestyle habits, toxins, okay? Lifestyle habits encompasses so many things. Let me shrink this so you can see the whole thing. Lifestyle habits encompasses so many things. It's your diet, your exercise, your sleep, your meditation, your de-stress, all of those, right? Toxins are anything that you put in your mouth, skin, you breathe in, right? If you're near a manufacturing plant, you're breathing in, and they're pumping these black smoke into into the air, you're breathing that in, right? Radiation, right? Now there's these Wi-Fi towers, cellular towers, they cause radiation. So that's your body's absorbing that, right? What you put in your mouth. What is the number one toxin you put in your mouth that you may not even know? I would say, let's start. Number one toxin that everybody puts in their mouth and they don't even realize. Number one. Anyone want to guess who that is? Anybody want to guess what that is? Sugar. It's a processed sugar. Especially here in the US. Okay. Everything is processed. All the food here is processed. Yes, you can get organic stuff, but I have yet, including myself. Okay, I'm not saying I am immune to this. I love to eat. I am a foodie, so I was just in Taiwan. I ate a lot of unhealthy foods. Okay, but I'm telling you, this is the cause. Number two, Number two, not everybody in the world does, but in the US and also in Taiwan, many people do. Medications. The US consumes the most medication than any country in the world. Think about that. The US consumes more medication than any country in the world. And Taiwan, out of the Asian countries, developed Asian countries, Taiwan is top three, is one of the top three in regards to consumption of medication. When I was in Taiwan and I was helping my dad, he had to go into the hospital for surgery, and they have a specific floor where you pick up medication. You can say the pharmacy here in the U.S. But it's still different in Taiwan. But there's a specific complete one floor is to pick up medication. It was like a flea market. It was jam packed. It was like a New York subway train on a busy work hour, right? It was jammed, packed people in lines picking up medications every single time I was in the hospital. And I was in the hospital. When my dad was in the hospital, we were in and out. There was one time it was 10 days straight. Every day that floor of medication that people get medications, buy their medications, it was packed, right? So I'm not saying don't take your medications. There are times when you need to take your medications, okay? But I'm just letting you know, these are the facts. This is not my opinion. These are facts. Medication is toxic to your body. Again, you may not feel the symptom, but doesn't mean you don't have side effects. Okay. So this is kind of the general category, general way of how your health happens, right? So it's not until, I'm going to go over here, you have symptoms, and then for a prolonged time, then it becomes a disease. Okay. And then it becomes, then you have more symptoms. And then I would say this is a temporary. This is a permanent disease. Permanent disease. So where does it all start? It all starts in our lifestyle, right? It starts here. Lifestyle habits, toxins. If we just fix this, we fix chronic disease forever, right? It is doable. It is highly improbable, but it's not impossible. But when we have these lifestyle habits, when we don't do the right lifestyle habits, we cause miscommunication, circulation issues. Then it causes organ dysfunction. Then it causes symptoms. So that's when you start feeling symptoms. Okay. But the symptoms are basically your body telling you, hey, something's already starting to malfunction. Right? You need to do something about it. Organ. But if you don't do something about it, this is a breakdown. Sorry. Damage. If you don't do something about it, if you don't do something about these symptoms right here, then you start developing a disease. At first, it's means a temporary disease. So at first, you start developing a temporary disease, and that disease will give your body more symptoms. But at that same time, your organs are getting damaged. And if you still don't do the right things, if you still don't reverse this, you can reverse this by going backwards. Okay. But if you still ignore your body and you keep on ignoring the symptoms and you just mask the symptoms with medication, then eventually you get a permanent disease. And by that time, you get permanent damage, right? So, like, for example, diabetes. Diabetes is a temporary disease unless you ignore it. If you keep on injecting yourself with insulin, you take those blood sugar diabetic medications, you eventually will have a permanent disease, right? Permanent disease results in, let me clear this up. Permanent organ damage. This is how we reverse chronic disorders in our clinic, FYI. Those of y'all who are still tuned in. Okay. We just work, what we call, we go backwards. We do the math backwards, right? So if you are in, you've got a disease, right? So this is when you can be diagnosed with a disorder. That's when you go to your physician, they give you a diagnosis, right? But that's after the disease has developed, right? So coming back to my original statement, and let me just make sure I clarify this. Symptoms does not equate to diagnosis. Symptoms are just a warning sign, like in your car, you have those warning signs that tell you, hey, something's going on. That's what symptoms are, right? It's telling you something's going on, but it doesn't mean it's diagnosis. And lack of symptoms does not mean you don't have a disease forming. Because guess what? What did I just say? Your organs are already dysfunctioning before you even have symptoms. So you need to find a clinic that can do this part. If they can diagnose which organs are dysfunctioning and fix it before you get more symptoms. This is the key to restoring your health permanently. Okay. But most people don't, most people do not do, most people do not even know about this. This is what our clinic does. We focus, we treat all of this above, we help with it, but to really fix your problem, we focus on this one before your symptoms. And how do we do that? We utilize some blood tests. Blood tests cannot do it by itself. Imaging cannot do it by itself. But I have created something called functional pulse diagnosis, where our practitioners can measure and determine which organs are already dysfunctioning that have not shown up as symptoms yet. And then we go in and help you fix it and restore the function. Because once we help restore the function, guess what? We're restoring circulation issues, we're restoring communication. Okay. And then you got to stop doing these. You got to do the right lifestyle habits, stop putting so much toxins in your body, and you will regain function. You will regain your body's ability to heal itself. Okay? There's so much more details to this. I don't know if this is helpful. Let me know in the chat if this is helpful at all. If not, I won't do this again. I just thought I figured out this blackboard and I figured out I'd try and see if that would be helpful to you. Okay. Let me know. Yeah. Let me know in the chat. You still want me to do these QRA lives? If not, then I will stop doing them. All right. Thank you for everybody for tuned in. And once I read the chat and see if people want me to continue to do these QRA lives. If I don't see anything, then I won't see you next week. Okay, so stay tuned, subscribe to our channel. We'll make an announcement. We always make an announcement when the next QRA live is. And so stay tuned, subscribe on all of our social media channels, but specifically here in YouTube. Comment, let me know if you want me to continue these. Let me know if this past session was helpful or not. All right. Thank you, everybody. Peace.